let's talk here with Robert. Robert, you're with Allworth Money Matters.
Yeah. Hi. I have a question regarding retiring here in a few months at the age of 55 and taking care of utilizing this window to do Roth conversions.
Okay. All right. Good. Tell us about your situation.
So account-wise, we've got, I've got $2 million in 401k, $23,000 in an IRA. My wife has $300,000 in an IRA. Brokerage accounts, we've got $315 in brokerage, $115 in a managed brokerage account, $50 in what I call a fun account, and $125 in T-bills. We've got it's a long list. I'm sorry.
That's all right.
$120 in an HSA, $17 in the bank, and $20,000 in a 529 plan.
Who's the 529 plan for?
Grandson.
And how old is your spouse?
51.
How old are you?
And 54.
And will one of you or both of you be receiving a pension?
No, neither.
What's your family income right now?
180.
And what do you feel you need in retirement?
Well, currently, so our home's paid off. Our expenses last year was $80,000.
And how did you determine those expenses?
Travel.
How'd you determine?
Through checkbooks.
Okay. All right.
Doing the math.
Well, sometimes
so oftentimes when we ask people, what are your expenses, what they'll actually do is actually
make a little list
of their bills. And then, but really what we're interested in is how much are you actually living on, which includes all the miscellaneous stuff that somehow doesn't seem to get counted.
Gotcha.
So 80,000. And why do you want to retire so early, or your spouse? How do you see your life?
So it's, since COVID, I've had several coworkers actually pass away, and I just feel like if I can do this, I've beat the game, frankly. Honestly, that's why I've been with my employer for quite a long time, and
look, if your expenses are $80,000 a year, you can retire. I mean, there's always a choice. I've had this discussion with so many people over the years. Like, look, here's what your financial life will look like post-retirement. And I've had some people say, well, I can't really live on that, so I can't retire. I've had other people say, I want to retire so badly. That sounds fantastic.
So is there a happy medium for you? Have you considered that? Would your job allow you?
Well, from a financial standpoint, let's just cover this real quick. So
he can do it.
If you think a 4% distribution, it's just a basic rule of thumb. There's some flaws in that rule of thumb, but I think it's a pretty good. If you can, the 4% rule says I'm going to take 4% withdraw from my portfolio day one, and that as inflation creeps up, I'm going to bump that up by inflation. What happens in the real world is people tend to adjust given the economic cycle. So during the financial crisis, even people who could afford to live large, most people scaled back because they felt a little funny about spending money when their neighbors were broke. Right. So, I mean, that's just kind of that's a bit of a reality. So if you think about you've got roughly $3 million, a 4% rule, that's $120,000 a year. Even after taxes, you should be fine to have net that $80,000. This is before your Social Security kicks in down the road too.
Mm-hmm.
So I think from a financial standpoint, you can pull it off.
Yes, that's correct. The thing that you actually should consider, though, is is when you retire over the age of 55 is how liquid your 401k is between the ages of 55 and 59 and a half if you do not roll it into an IRA.
Right. I do realize that, and I wouldn't. And it is available to me at 55.
Yeah. And correct. And sometimes people will roll part of it into an IRA and keep part of it there, and that's what we would recommend on a $2 million.
I love the concept of doing some Roth conversions between now and the next several years.
Yes. Yeah, especially if you have the income to pay for it. And you're going to be in a relatively low income.
What you got going for you is you've got great kind of tax diversification with all of your different types of accounts. So it gives you some flexibility. You can convert some. You can have income coming from somewhere else.
So here's the thing that in the real world I would look to, which is people don't really want to quit working. They want control of their lives.
I would agree.
For the most part.
For the most part.
I work from home, and I feel like I'm on house arrest during my
Oh
workday.
gosh. My first job out of college, I worked from home, and it gave me anxiety because I felt like I never could leave work. I would get up in the middle of the night and actually go into the office and
Oh.
work at 3 a.m. It was not healthy for me. Can you work part-time? Could you go back to your employer and say, hey,
Or maybe you just need a break and figure out.
yeah, maybe.
Sure. I don't think I would do that with this employer. I'd probably just pick up, a contract or something like
Okay.
that.
Yeah, you've
Okay.
been
Do
good.
something
You've
for
been
3
great
months or
savers.
something like that.
You've been great savers, right? And like I believe you when you say you can live on $80,000 a year. And maybe what you do is you retire and in all seriousness, take 80 grand and stick it in your account and say, this is what we're going to spend on. This is what we're going to spend in the next year, and kind
Then
of budget
start doing
for that.
Roth conversions.
And
too.
start doing those Roth conversions.
Does your spouse work outside of the home?
She did, yes, for 15 years. And actually, that was a big part of this. So paid off a ton of debt.
She doesn't anymore.
Sort of propped up the accounts. No longer.
All right. Yeah, you look great. You look great.
Yeah, I love the Roth conversion idea during these years because
So what? I'm sorry. So which tax bracket should I sort of fill up?
the
That's actually
12%.
another question that
I would do
had.
the 12%.
Okay.
Because you've
Okay.
got very little in taxable income. I know your brokerage are going to spin it off a little bit. Hopefully, it's invested in such a manner
Yeah.
that's not, and a little bit of interest. So you have very little of taxable income, and the 12% is for a married couple. It's about $100,000 after the standard deduction.
Yeah.
Now, I wouldn't be looking at 12%. Would I be looking at like a tax bomb at 75? I mean, I know I'm
No.
20 years out, right? I'm trying to solve a problem 20 years from now.
Yeah, correct. That by doing the Roth conversions, you're actually getting rid of any of the tax
Yeah.
bomb. And I wouldn't worry so much about that because if retiring at age 55, you're going to end up taking income from
That's
both
right.
your IRAs and the other accounts as well.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it's perfect. As long as you're comfortable living on that income, and I can tell you from experience working with hundreds and hundreds of clients that have retired early because they could, many of them go back to work and find it some of the most satisfying work of their lives because
Right.
they're doing it for two reasons. They're doing it for social reasons, right? They want to get out of the house. And they're doing it because they want to. They're much more picky about the jobs they will take after they retire.
But you've saved.
Yeah, great.
You've done a
saver.
great job savings. You've hit this. If this is what you want to do, you can retire. So maybe just take some time off and spend the next year thinking about what your next 25 years are going to look like, 35 years are
Right.
going to look like.
We've been talking about it, and we're calling it recreational employment.
Oh, perfect.
rather
What,
than,
what
you
a great
know.
what a great name. Yeah. Yeah, and it's good for a couple to stay away from each other sometimes, right? Just not to be together all the time.
Oh, yeah.
Well,
I
that's
get
the
it.
other
Oh,
thing.
100%.
Since COVID, this was like early retirement in regards to like how we're going to behave as a couple in the same home
Oh, I know.
for all
You
this time.
you
know?
work full time out of the house?
Yeah.
Doesn't it?
Yes.
That's got to be hard.
I didn't realize how social my needs to be social were, how big that was,
Right.
and not being around people.
I
the
tell you,
office.
I joined a gym for the sole reason to go and bother people and talk to them while they're working out. I don't work out myself. I just go and talk to people while they're working out.